What's up, everybody? Brett here, and I'm back today again for even more Total War Warhammer 2 news. Gotrek and Felix, guys, totally unexpected. People were prophesying this on Reddit, that they would be the old friends update mysteriously hinted at by some of the community managers there. I didn't believe it. I totally did not believe this. So, guys, if you're not familiar with the backstory on the Old Friend update, it was something that was teased a long time ago by CA. Ended up being nothing more than Krell being added as a hero summon to Heinrich Himmler. And people were very disappointed. A lot of people got their hopes up that the Old Friend update would be Boris Todbringer being added to the game, Mousillon, the Red Duke, being added. People let their speculations run wild, and ultimately it was nothing more than a bound spell and a summon unit. This time they hinted at it again, and I thought to myself, there's no way that they're going to repeat the same level of disappointment that people felt the first time. I did not, however, expect them to go full-blown Gotrek and Felix, two of the most iconic characters in all of Warhammer Fantasy. They make up the bulk of the fiction written. They have adventures that lead them all the way through all the different societies and races of Warhammer. So they have tons of books. I've never read any of their books. I've only ever read their wikis and different accounts and all the times that they met this lord or that lord and some of the things that happened to them in the end times. I read a lot of fantasy growing up, but I never really got into the Warhammer fantasy at that time. But now that they're going to be in the game, I may have to start taking a look at some of their books. And if any of you guys have read any of their books, feel free to leave me some suggestions for which ones to read in order in the comment section below. But anyway, without any further ado, without me rambling anymore, let's go ahead and read the FAQ that has been left here. And that's them, by the way. Gotrek and Felix. Gotrek is a slayer. Felix is you should kind of call him a bard, a noble-born bard who follows Gotrek around as he attempts to die a glorious death, and he writes about it. And he often gets involved in their adventures, and he's a bit of a badass himself. So, legendary adventurers are abroad in Total War Warhammer 2. Gotrek Gunnarsson is one of the legendary dwarf slayers, those brooding, taciturn, yet deadly warriors whose very raison d'etre, I think that basically means reason to live, is to bring death, destruction, and all-around doom to any and all enemies of the dwarf race. Even for a slayer, Gotrek is a particularly grim example, for his shame is especially great. He refuses to speak of the humiliation that led him to follow such a path, except to say that it is his only desire to die in mortal combat against a worthy foe, and pull them with him into death's cold embrace. The trouble is, Gotrek is rather too good at his work, or bad depending on your point of view, and has thus far entirely failed to die, instead becoming something of a celebrity. Gotrek's only companion is his manling hagiographer? I don't know what that's supposed to be. Felix Jaeger, whose role it is to record Gotrek's deeds. Although he often finds himself somewhat reluctantly taking part. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to break out a dictionary after this. Some sort of biographer of sorts. But here we have another really cool action shot. You can see Gotrek here diving in. He'll only have one large axe. Super cool. I wonder how much of his model is taken from Ungram. But he looks sweet. I mean, he looks just like every art I've ever seen of him. And then Felix Jaeger here, looking to charge some trolls. We see giants in the background. I was looking here to see if maybe there was any sort of secret stuff here, but I don't see anything. Like if there's any type of, unit hidden that we might get with this DLC, but I don't think so. I see some savage orcs. You see gyrocopters in the background, long beards, all pretty standard stuff. But let's see how they function. So Gotrek and Felix are legendary adventurers and mercenaries known throughout the Warhammer world by those that sing their praises and curse their names. Veterans of countless minor scrapes and grand battles, both are formidable warriors in their own right, and would make a welcome addition to any army if a commander is able to keep their attention for long enough. If you have the Gotrek and Felix DLC, you'll spot a new interactive marker on the campaign map. Click it, recruit them, and let the adventures begin. So, interesting. At first glance, I don't quite like the mechanic. It feels very like video gamey, which I know is funny because we're talking about a video game. But I just finished playing Planetfall, and and it has kind of those similar interactions. Like you just walk around on the board, you talk to people, and they just pop up and they're like, "Hey, this is a thing you can do," and it feels very video gamey. And for me, it sort of breaks the immersion. But I don't know how else you could do these two guys other than have them be special recruitable heroes for any order faction. And as it says further down here, you can only recruit them if you're Empire, Bretonia, or Dwarves, of course. Which makes sense. They're the only guys who are kind of aligned with their beliefs. And I don't know, I feel like there's probably a better way to do it than just have them be clicked on the map. But I'm going to reserve any harsh criticism for actually seeing how the campaign plays out, because that's the true test. So gameplay here. Gotrek and Felix are wandering adventurers and mercenaries. They can be very powerful allies, but they can't exactly be relied upon to stick around forever. After all, Gotrek has a death wish to fulfill, so you can't always be sure where their quest will take them. To represent their iconic style in combat, they function a little differently to other characters. Gotrek and Felix are initially recruited from their quest marker as a pair. Gotrek effectually functions as a lord, and Felix is a hero that accompanies him. This means they can function as an army just by themselves, and you can send them off around the world on adventures on their own, or supply them with troops and have them function in the same way as your other armies, although with a rather powerful pair of characters leading it. I mean, that's interesting. Seems a little strange. It would almost be cool if they had their own like set of a mix of Dwarven, Bretonian, and Empire units that are available for some sort of like global pool of recruitment just to them. They might be swords for hire, but they have a certain moral code and will only enter the employ of Empire, Bretonia, and Dwarf factions. If you so much as look like a rat from a distance, don't ask. Yeah, they hate the Skaven. So Gotrek and Felix will only stay with your faction for too long. Little poor English there. Around 20 turns or so before Gotrek gets itchy feet and his death wish commands him to seek adventure elsewhere. So that's cool. It makes sense. It's very loreful. But in the same way that oftentimes the Green Knight was complained about for so long as a Bretonian hero, that people just would play Bretonia and never use him because he felt like this special thing, like in RPGs, right? Your backpack fills up with all these cool consumables and you never use them because you always have this fear like, I'm going to need this, right? And you always feel like I'm going to need the Green Knight in the Bretonian campaign. And you'll get to the end of your campaign and you've only used him for a few battles because you know that he disappears after a while. And eventually, CA realized this, and they changed it so that once you reach a certain level in the Bretonian campaign, the Green Knight sticks around forever. And in the same way, it says here that they'll only stick around for 20 turns. But it does give you a caveat, though, here saying, fear not, though, because their wanderings will inevitably lead them back to you at some point, and you'll find they have likely increased in prowess in the meantime. So we don't yet know what type of event or trigger or cost we're going to have in order to recruit them. But maybe once you recruit them once, you just kind of have the ability to recruit them over and over again. Or if you'll find them at different points in the world doing different stuff and you can help them or they help you or whatever the case may be. Either way, guys, I'm not trying to be negative on this DLC. I think any addition that they add is going to be awesome. But don't mind me if I just give a little bit of my own opinions. Whenever I see something that maybe could be tweaked in some way to make it a little bit more fun. Fun is usually my big caveat. Sometimes, you know, things have to make sense and they have to function in a video game world. But if the mechanic is not fun, then you might as well try and do something different. Just be wary of any enemies they have made while they've been away. Interesting. So maybe you recruit them, you use them for a while. They say, hey, you know, it's time to go. And then, you know, 20 turns later or whatever, they show back up. And this time, they're stronger, but they put you at war with someone else if you recruit them. Who knows? Or maybe a rogue army appears chasing them or something like that, and you have to try and help them. Could be interesting. Also, really cool art here. You can see Felix a little bit better. With some Empire men rushing in to fight the dragon. Looks like a black dragon to me. So how to get them? The Gotrek and Felix DLC is exclusively available in September's print issue of White Dwarf magazine. You just need to follow the instructions on the special card you'll get with your copy. White Dwarf is available from all branches of Warhammer and Games Workshop stores, from independent stockists, and through Game Workshop's online web store. It's also available through all good news agents and bookshops that stock it. After that period of exclusivity, Gotrek and Felix will be available to anyone for free through Total War Access from the 17th of October. If you already have a free Total War Access account, they will appear from that date in your inventory alongside your other free items. If you don't have a Total War Access account yet, you only need to go here to sign up for free, and you'll also get all the latest news and exclusive freebies and offers from Total War as a result. So a long time ago, I made one of these accounts for certain types of DLCs. I've also experienced the whole, like, you gotta buy one of these magazines to get the code with Grombrindle, which is something that they did. And back in the day, I was very, very ill at the time. I basically was homebound. It's long story. But I was homebound for months and months. And I ended up calling in a Games Workshop store and just asking. I said, hey, man, I'm a disabled veteran. I've been stuck in my house for I don't know how long. I would love to get this Grombrindle code. And back then, I didn't have a YouTube channel, of course. It was just me really loving Total War and wanting to have access to every Dwarf Lord I could get my hands on. And the gentleman I spoke to was kind enough to give me a code. I don't know if that'll work for everyone. He did seem a little bit irritated at first because I guess a lot of people were doing that, trying to get the codes without buying the magazine. But I'll be buying the magazine this time around. And, I don't hate having the magazine. I love the White Dwarfs content. Every time I've ever seen a magazine, one of theirs, it's cool. It's not very expensive. But for those of you who don't want to spend the money, all you have to do is sign up for their free Total War Access account. It's not a big deal. I personally don't like having to sign up for things to get things. Like, I can't stand doing that. But it really is free. You can block their emails if you want. It's not a big deal. Just the idea that they're only gating the content behind like a month of exclusivity, to me, that's like, I would clap. I would clap for CA. And tell them that that's a good thing to do. You get your advertisement, you make your exclusive, right? You give the content early to people who want it and are willing to pay for it, and then at the same time, you don't leave the people out who perhaps don't have the funds to get what will probably be one of the coolest DLCs to come out in quite some time. And I love the art. Eye patch. He's holding like some aspiring champion's helmet. Looks sweet. So, what's the deal here? Okay, so these are a lot of the questions that they anticipate people having. I may as well read this. It's not a lot of information, but for some of you, these will be some of the questions that you have. What's the deal here? Gotrek and Felix is a new Total War Warhammer 2 DLC, available exclusively for a limited period with September 2019's printed copy of White Dwarf magazine. After a month, anyone can grab them for free from Total War Access. What game are they for? They are a Total War Warhammer 2 DLC, and you'll need that game in order to make use of this DLC. Alright, you can also use them in the free Mortal Empires campaign if you own both Total War Warhammer and Total War Warhammer 2. I don't have Total War Warhammer 2 yet. What can I do? Okay, that should be self-explanatory. Buy it. When can I start playing with them? If you're a subscriber, you should receive your copy a few days before the 20th of September. You sign in the Total War Access, use your redemption code in order to unlock them. If you buy the White Dwarf, then you should be able to get access to them as soon as they hit the shelves in store. If you don't subscribe or buy the White Dwarf, you'll be able to access them on the 17th of October. Cool. Why are you complaining? It's basically them explaining, it's free advertisement for us. We don't actually have to lock the content behind money. Win-win for everybody. What is Total War Access? Kind of explain that. It's just their way of marketing to you. Expect it. It's a company, CA is a company. They're trying to make money. They're trying to give you their latest offers and news. But sometimes you do get free stuff, and that's cool too. How can you buy it? You can go online. You can go into a store. Just make sure you have that code in there. I would hate to buy like one of the magazines off of eBay after someone like just takes the card out and then you don't get your card. And this was a pretty important, I thought. So the September issue of the magazine is available from the 20th of September. You can pre-order your copy from the 14th of September. So I looked online already to see if I could just pre-order it and just get that one magazine, but you can't. It's not available for pre-order yet, but it will be. So a little bit after the new DLC drops. And that's cool with me. So by the time the 20th of September rolls around, I should be able to do maybe like an Empire campaign with Gelt or something like that, showing off the new province. And we'll go for a Gotrek and Felix fun times. Alright, and how do you redeem it? Pretty self-explanatory stuff. All right. They will not be available to recruit in multiplayer games. That's pretty important. However, they are in custom battles and non-campaign multiplayer. I would love it if they were in multiplayer. I don't know how you would do that other than just making them an optional hero choice that's perhaps very expensive. 2 heroes that come together. But only for the Empire, Bretonnia, and the Dwarves, once again. I think you could do it. I mean, maybe they'll do it down the line. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, listening. Hope you're as excited about this content as I am. I'm super happy to be bringing you 2 big info dumps in the same day, and to have both of them just be incredible. This past week has been great for me personally, but also great for the Total War Warhammer community. And yeah, more good things to come. It's easy to get all this stuff and be happy with it, and then to immediately want to move on and know what the next DLC is. And that's natural, and it's only because I think we all love this game so much that we just want it to be as good as it can be. I find myself, after spending well over 1,000 hours in the first game, and who knows how much time in the second game, I start picking up to play it, and I get this feeling like, you know, the game's like incomplete. And I put it down. And it's because I've sunk so many hours into the game. But everything like this that they add, every additional lord, every additional feature, the features really, like having, you know, mercenary type guys to recruit, and having them being these awesome heroes. These things are going to add so much flavor and longevity to a campaign playthrough that for the first time in a long time, I think I'm going to be able to very happily and easily get through my first, you know, 50 turns of a campaign without wanting to just start over, right? Which is what I find myself doing often. But I love these type of things, these types of interactions. Good on CA for making this. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Brett. My channel is Good Talk Gaming. If you'd like to subscribe or join my Discord channel, there will be a link in the description down below. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next one. Take care, y'all.